How's it going, you guys? It's Seb here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm here to discuss a couple things. The first thing being the cancellation of Pacific Trail's 50K this weekend, which is very unfortunate. You know, things happen in this sport that is out of our control. So I'm not here to get too petty about it, although I do think that it's a bit frustrating for the people that traveled from out of the country to come run this race and then it gets canceled 4 days before. But, you know, like, life goes on and you kind of have to just learn to deal with it in a way. I already have come up with a backup plan about what I'm going to do instead of Pacific Trails this Saturday, because I've put in all this training and I've already been kind of tapering for, you know, the 50K. So I figured I kind of wanted to put together some sort of project here, and I kind of just wanted to talk about it and run you through what my plan is and then the gear that I'm going to be bringing with me for that adventure. So I've been doing a little bit of brainstorming and I kind of came up with an idea, but it's kind of a crazy idea. I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off and tell you that I'm gonna be running the 35-mile Santa Barbara 9 Trails full course this Saturday instead of Pacific Trails. Kind of wanted to still get a long effort in. But the thing about 9 Trails is it's 5 miles longer and has over double the climbing of Pacific Trails, as well as being on some of the most technical trails I've ever been on. I've already talked a bit to my coach, Hayden Hawks, about kind of how I want to go about this effort as well, and we both kind of agreed that I don't want to do race effort for it, because at the end of the day, I'm not racing 9 Trails. I'm not doing the actual race. I'm just going to go out there and do it on my own. So I'm probably just going to do an easy to moderate effort, but I mean, easy to moderate effort for a 35-mile run with that much elevation on those trails is, yeah, like I said, an easy effort is not going to be that easy. Either way, I'm going to be able to do a lot of fueling practice. I'll be able to work on my long run efficiency and kind of my execution of these runs. So I'm super excited about that. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys a couple of the things that I'm for sure going to be bringing along with me, and kind of like my 5 essential things that I bring with me on every race, but especially for 9 Trails is very important. And any run really over 4 hours, I'm going to be bringing these things I'm about to show you. First thing I would always recommend to everyone, and this is very basic and kind of obvious, but it gets overlooked a lot, is find a pair of shoes that you are comfortable with. For me, I always wear, for any long run really, I always wear this Hoka Tecton 2.5 prototype shoe. I had 2 pairs of these I got at Western States in 2024. They're selling about 500 of them, so I got 2 pairs, and I will say it is the best shoe I've ever worn on trails in my entire life. I absolutely love the carbon plate in there, the dual side-by-side carbon plate. It gives you a lot of feedback when you're running, and you can really feel it in the later miles that your legs are kind of getting more return than if you were just wearing a non-carbon plated shoe. And I wouldn't always recommend wearing a carbon plated shoe for every single long run you do, just for the sake of, I've had some pop-ups with my knee and my calf a little bit when I wear carbon plated shoes every single run, but for the most part, for workouts and long runs, I will always recommend these. And yeah, also if you don't have these, the Tecton X3 by Hoka as well is also a great pick. The second, and by far, I kid you not, by far the most important part of any of these things I'm going to show you today that I would recommend, not just for long runs and not just for this 35-mile run that I'm about to do this Saturday. Yes, especially for that, but in general, this right here. Fueling has quickly become the most important part of ultra running, almost equal to the training itself, is being able to train your gut, being able to train your stomach to be able to take in a certain number of carbohydrates per hour. What that number is very individual, so I couldn't tell you exactly how many of these you should be taking an hour. I personally strive for about 90 to 115 grams of carbohydrates per hour, and I try and do that consistently throughout the run. So I'm taking basically 3 of these an hour mixed in with a drink mix that's concentrated carbohydrate as well. By the way, Precision Fuel and Hydration, thank you for sponsoring me and helping me out so much. I'll put the link in the description for you guys. But yeah, carbohydrates, very important, very, very important. And I would also, on that same note, just say electrolytes as well are highly important, especially when you're going out for so many hours at a time. You have to think about how much you're sweating and how much your body is working. You need to be putting back in the electrolytes and the carbohydrates that your body needs. And for that reason, I would put that as probably the most important thing out of this entire list as far as what I would recommend bringing for long runs. So the third thing I would say kind of goes into 2 different parts. And this is more specifically for long runs and stuff that I always bring with me, is first, a hydration vest. It doesn't really matter what kind of hydration vest you have. This one's Hoka, but also Solomon does great packs as well as Tantrums as well. I've had great experiences with all three. Yeah, it's good to just hold water up here, and also in some packs you can throw an extra bottle in the back zipper here, or in this pack I actually throw an extra bottle in this pull quiver. I'm not using the pulls, but for tomorrow I will be using the pulls. But I always bring a hydration pack just to carry more water with me, especially for a solo long run FKT style run, you could say, because I'm only going to be getting crewed a couple times instead of having consistent aid stations. So being able to carry lots of water and put all my fueling in here is very important. And also in that same realm, as well as this naked belt that I'm always going to bring with me for any run really over 2 hours, just to be able to store, for example, gel wrappers. And I'll probably throw, if I don't throw another bottle in the quiver in my pack, I'll throw a third bottle in this naked belt always. And sometimes if, you know, it starts to get a little off balance with the gels and the salt tablets and the electrolytes in my pack, I kind of like to balance it out by just putting some in here and taking some of the weight off my chest and kind of off my back and just throw in here. It always works well for me. With that being said, I really appreciate you guys tuning into the video. Enjoyed kind of seeing the stuff I'm going to bring with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.